Until she appeared in your life, you lived well, ate well, slept well. You were not busy with something else, and did not make me scandals. Before, you loved only me. You gave all your attention to me and often gave me flowers. But then you bought her, forgot about me, and spent all your time with her.
Твоя вишневая девятка меня опять с ума свела.
It is difficult to be impartial about Soviet technology, because for you these are memories of childhood, adolescence, and, most often, you dreamed about it. There are iconic cars, but not only because of the model or brand, but also because of color. Burgundy car Vaz 2109. The development of a front-wheel drive car at the Lada company began in the mid-70s as a promising direction. At that time, the whole world was striving to create front-wheel drive cars. In 1977, they switched from technology to prototypes. And both models, 2108 and 2109, and even 21099 were developed in parallel. But the model 2108 was the first to leave the assembly line. It was December 19, 1984. Why was it a 2108 and not a 2109? Because this machine was easier and cheaper to manufacture. But this model was not very practical. It was only 3 years later that 2109 saw the light of day, and the Soviet people moved to a new level of automobile comfort. Family car, 2109 immediately outstripped all Soviet cars in sales. This also affected 2108. They were in the lead until the end of their release. We have a unique car by today's standards. It was released in the USSR in 1989. The classic and, in my opinion, the most advantageous color is cherry, in general, red, and, of course, with a short wing. They did not install such a front end on cars for long. The reason was the poor quality of the plastic. Over time, the front end warped, bent and peeled off, but the now well-preserved car with a short wing is all the more unique. At 2109, they began to steadily install the rear wiper and the spray gun. The fifth door. Well, yes, it doesn't sound very good, but hatchbacks turned the world around. Here, 330 liters without the seat folded. Musical preparation. Space for speakers. Some details, as on Lada 2105. And everything is so neat, pleasant, practically not covered with plastic. It is touching. Back row. Quite roomy for a small car. Suitable for 2 adults and a child. This is not to say that it is very convenient to get out or get into the car. But the USSR did not know another option. You can sit down at that time. It meant that everyone was comfortable. The engine compartment has not undergone major changes over the long years of production. Since our car is quite early in 1989, it even says made in the USSR. A classic version is installed here, a 79 cubic inch engine. They also installed a 67 cubic inch engine, and from 1988 they began to put the engine at 91 cubic inches. It was the dream of all Lada 2109 owners. It's still carbureted. The maximum power is 63 horsepower. Peak torque 78 ft at 3,400 RPM. Here, even as an attribute of the era, there is a magnet that supposedly does something with fuel. Well, he probably beats a tambourine. I don't know. Maybe he makes some shaman calls. But the cool guys in the 90s put in their car either a fuel ionizer or a fuel synthesizer. Will transform your old car into a new one. Reduction of CO by a factor of 2.5 ch is up to 50%. Engine power, up to 10%. Fuel economy 0.26 gallons at 62 miles, giving the oil an energetic effect. Without a sucker in life is bad. I had a fuel ionizer, and I naively believed that it worked. And now for the most valuable thing in a valuable car, the interior. It is not dyed, not altered. This is a very rare equipment for a domestic car. Raspberry Salon. And with it, the car has acquired an updated look. At the beginning of the release of models 2108 and 2109, Lada was still trying to bring bright colors to the gray life of Soviet citizens. Crimson, but not red. This is one of the rarest salons on the Lada 2109. No, of course, the rarest color was red. Such cars were immediately sent abroad. Why this one stayed in the USSR, I don't know. Everything is as it should be here, a low torpedo, with one stripe, which means that it is still of those years. Look at the ashtray. It was beige, but already repainted. Everything here is in agreement with feng shui, and in general, thanks to Dennis for allowing him to roll out and remove this car, this rarity, in such disgusting weather. The salon for the 80s is very fashionable and functional. Everything is done in the same style and style. Instrument panel, long shelf, visually increasing the interior space. Door trims with pockets in a matching color. By the way, the low torpedo was put in place until 1991. Dream. And where is the suction? I forgot. Hear this engine sound. The gear lever fits into the hand by itself. The first gear. And we are going leisurely, as 20 years ago. In order for you to understand that front-wheel drive cars from Lada were very modern for those years and did not lose their relevance for many decades, you need to know that many of the ideas embodied in this car were trends in the technological progress of that time.
А ты все рулишь и молчишь, поговорил бы хоть со мной. Ты в гараже все время спишь, не берешь меня с собой. Твоя вишневая девятка меня совсем с ума свела. Твоя вишневая девятка покой мне напрочь отняла.
For the production of this car, 20 foreign licenses were purchased. And it's not just McPherson struts from USSR and Solex carburetor, but also Lucas front disc brakes. I say this so that fans of foreign cars shut up, because there are a lot of parts from foreign cars. Suffice it to say that the Soviet designers worked in collaboration with the German company Porsche on the appearance and tuning of the suspension, and it was Porsche's recommendations that were taken into account when purchasing licenses. Automotive product clutch, Zanrit fabric rack and pinion steering mechanism and gearbox synchronizers, Hardy spacer constant velocity joints. I will say even more, the rear beam is from Volkswagen, and there is nothing to be ashamed about. Why reinvent the wheel again? There are good technical and technological ideas, and they should be used. I can already imagine the disgruntled comments. Again, everything was stolen. I repeat, the engine here is made in Togliatti. Here everything is from Togliatti, but with German recommendations. It's like an exam. They are like in a paid university. They took exams, gave recommendations. True for money. All the best was taken abroad and adapted to the harsh Russian conditions, so that the iron is stronger, the bearings are more powerful, the elastic band is denser. Although, of course, in some places the quality, to put it mildly, let down. And in general, the first models 2108 and 2109 were famous for their unreliability, but only the electrical circuit. Otherwise, it was a fine car. I love low torpedoes, but they annoyed me only because everything was constantly falling from them. But here you have to choose, either beautiful or practical. The front-wheel drive Lada family was very progressive and promising. Cars were popular not only in Soviet Europe, but also in bourgeois Europe. 2109 were successfully sold in Canada and even tried to sell in the United States. Improved models were produced until 2013 as a standalone model 2114. And also there is no tachometer. Instead, there is a strange thing that runs on thin air, called an econometer. If the arrow goes into the yellow zone, it means that you are pouring too much gasoline into the firebox. Does it help? Does it work? Write in the comments. But it seems to me this is as useful a thing as the tongue is already braiding the headlight hydrocorrector. Your Cherry 9 is honking again outside the window. Your Cherry 9. You will love it later. I didn't believe, but the time has come, and I want to say something. Such cars must be protected, and it is very offensive when they fall into the hands of people who do not understand its value. Fools. But this car is lucky. Dennis, thank you. And the hunt continues in the nearby garage of Dennis. But we will not show you anything now.